Hey, Harry.
Morning,
Thank you so
Haris.
much. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time and willingness to do this interview with me.
Pleasure. I was looking forward to meet you, and here we are. So yeah, I'm very excited about what's coming.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So you, Harry, are a sexual cycle breaker and a naked author, a motivational mentor, and an award-winning speaker. For those who don't know you. When I saw the term sexuality cycle breaker, I've never heard of that term before. So I'm really curious, what is a sexuality cycle breaker?
First of all, I think everyone can relate to a past, to what happened to him or her, and I think we all have a journey, and many things in life are related to the cycles of what happened to us, or to cycles within a family in terms of the generations above someone, you know what I mean? In terms of identity, sexuality, pressure, and confidence. And I
Mhm.
call myself a sexuality cycle breaker to break first the stigma on the labels on sexuality, but also to say that it's okay to be yourself without putting any pressure on sexuality.
Right.
Uh, the term cycle breaker is broad because it's on sexuality, identity, pressure, and confidence. But I use this term myself instead of calling myself, I say something, a coach, a guru, a mentor, because I like to give my own way to kind of identification, let's say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I've heard you actually my first encountering with your material was a YouTube video, and you talked, among other things, exactly about that, about the labeling of on sexuality and how it impacts us, how it can have a limiting impact. And
Yeah.
I love that because I could so relate to that. And it felt like I was hearing myself talk, especially in some earlier years when I just felt I didn't belong to any label. Yet I felt I needed to get myself labeled,
Exactly.
otherwise I was weird.
Exactly.
So my question is, how do you see that labeling on sexuality affects people? And what would you say to those who are unsure to which community they belong?
Well, right now, I think we live in a world where being who you are is much more accepted. And of course, that's what I write in the book I wrote as well. If you hate it or love it, pride is still needed today because so many people fought for rights of people who love someone from the same gender. But then, if you don't fit in that label that society still today created in the terms of, I think I say something, lesbian women are butchy, or gay men should be
Mhm.
feminated. That's just an image, a cliche. And if you don't fit in that cliche, people have a hard time understanding and believing that you are actually, for example, into men. And let's be very naked here. Being gay is not about um, an all nakedness, balls and a penis. It's about having connection with the same gender, someone you can build a future with, someone you can fall in love with. And I think nowadays as well, if you're bisexual, for example, people are confused if you don't speak up and say, "Hey, I'm openly gay," as coming out. I call it coming into terms with yourself, because you only
Mhm.
have to declare yourself to yourself.
Yeah.
People are confused, and it brings so much pressure to bring out that message. Hey, everyone, I'm into guys. Hey, everyone, I'm into girls. It's no one's business, and I understand it's important to bring it out, but for many people, just like you and me, I dare to say, it's not what makes us. Sexuality is a it's a small part for myself, and I think many people can relate to that.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you say that it's about coming into yourself instead of coming out. Um, because I also feel like when we say this is who we are in terms of a concept, then we go automatically into that's from the mind, and then we are less into being. What we eventually want, the groundedness and the connection that we want, is all in being, which is which cannot we cannot get there through a concept. So
Exactly.
yeah.
if I may say a little word on the being you said, Haris, I love what you say, because this is what I also mention as well and write about. So many people are focused on to do and to have, like, I have to do this to be accepted. I have to do that to be successful, to pretend I'm okay, to be having this perfect life. But the whole core of the connection between two people in a friendship or an amorous way is to be, is being open to yourself and your feelings and your emotions and being truly who you are. And like you said, I think many people, they come out of the closet. Coming out of something is for me something to coming out of what to a difficult world where people might judge you. Yes, that's the truth, but I think it's better to say coming into terms with yourself, because once you do this, you take peace within yourself, you're able to embrace yourself and eventually others. But the core is to embrace yourself, not to spread out the word of hey, I'm into guys or girls. And this said, the thing is also, I think many people who declare themselves as gay, I like men, but I don't define myself as typically gay, to be honest. They don't use their full potential because they adapt themselves to that frame because they want to be part of a community. They want to be accepted. So what do? They will maybe pretend to have a behavior. They will pretty much act more like a certain way. They will probably pretty much be more with people who are also gay, who don't even talk their language. But to not end up alone, they will think, hey, I need to be like them. Otherwise, I'm not accepted and I'm on my own. But you and I dare to say, prefer to stand on our grounds, to be on our own. And this is so important because it all begins there.
Yes, yeah, I love that. And this brings me to the word that comes up is authenticity. And that's exactly what what stood out for me in your energy when I watched the first video. I was like, wow, oh my God, this guy is so authentic. This is so awesome. And you are all about that from what I see also on the social media. You know, you're use naked, you know, also as a metaphor to just be stripped of the labels, the concept, the identity, roles. So I feel like that's something that's very important to you as well. Um, Now, even though that's a word that's often used, especially in the conscious communities, I am curious to hear what's your um, what does what does it mean to you? What means authenticity to you? What does it represent?
Wow. I'll try to put it in a nutshell, right?
Okay, sure.
I love the way you brought the subject on the table, to the table. The thing is, to give you an example, yesterday, and it happens to all of us, I'm nothing special. I'm just a number in this universe who decides to be naked and authentic in the sake to support others who understand. So to give you an example, I am currently promoting an event I'm creating 7th of December, and the movie I'm using is half naked. I do my talk nakedness because it's important to be authentic. It's important to get off those layers, those clothes you've been given, and those values and beliefs which are not yours. So it's important to be naked, even in front of the camera, but even more importantly, in real life. So some people approach me and say, hey, are you down for something sexual? And I'm like, no, the message is against that. I'm not trying to provoke you with my nakedness. I'm trying to bring out a message of being your true self. But those people don't understand. So what they see is the nakedness. While the deeper context of being nakedly authentic is about being yourself. So for me, being authentic is daring to say what you truly believe in, what you truly stand for on Facebook, in real life, in a live conversation like right now, not just behind closed doors. This is being authentic and being okay with people who got your message, will criticize you, but also other people who love what you say. Even though they might not tell you straight ahead, they feel they can identify. And this is for me, being authentic, once again, not showing off, not pretending to be someone you're not. Of course, you will not be able to please anyone, everyone in the world, but being authentic starts with being yourself anywhere. That's being authentic, I think. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I love that about you know, you say speaking the truth and
Exactly.
yeah, great, great. Um, So I want to go back a little bit before on your journey so far, before you have gotten to where you are now. And I was curious, what are some of the most valuable experiences that supported you in your journey to feeling so free and comfortable with being authentic? Because I'm sure it hasn't been always the case in your life.
Good question. I
Yeah.
love that, Haris.
Yeah. So yeah, well, what can you say about that?
Well, I'll be extremely honest here again. I think this is the whole importance to be right now in this conversation. I don't know you, but I have a feeling that you, amongst many others, just like myself, you become yourself without judging others, without feeling pressured by spending a lot of time on your own. Because once again, I strongly believe that loneliness is not equal to standing on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And we live in a world again where when you stand on your own, people will look at you differently, weirdly. They might criticize you because they might not understand this. The human being has been, over the years, over the centuries, always been a very sociable kind of animal, I dare to say. And not being part of a tribe or a community is seen as weird. Instead, people like yourself, or I dare to say myself, want to create their own community and communicate and create an alliance with people who think in the same way. So I think being authentic starts with taking distance from what happened to you, taking distance from even the people who made you, and spending some time on your own by pointing at yourself, by daring to look at yourself in the mirror, by questioning yourself, those questions of truth. Because to many people, they look at me like, oh, you wrote a book, you must know a lot. No, I think everyone knows a lot. I just decided to do it. Everyone has a book in them. Everyone can be authentic. Some people go for it, some don't. And as long as you strongly believe in your values, your core, for what you stand for, being on your own is the greatest gift. And this is a way to be authentic and to be happy with yourself. And yes, we have all good and bad days, but some days you like, wow, I'm on my own and I'm able to do this and I'm on my mission. Wow, I love my life. And some other days, yes, it's very lonely, but at least you don't adapt yourself. You don't lower yourself to people who don't speak your language, because people like you and I, they're out there. You just have to meet the people that really align with you and really are on the same frequency.
Yes. There are a few things coming up for me. Let's see where I want to go, to which direction. First of all, it's very powerful, to say that that we all have this access to. You didn't say it in these words, but to a wisdom, to a knowing, to an intelligence that can inspire us. This core essence of who we are. Then when we connect to that, everyone, can be of huge inspiration and potentially write books. And so I see, you talked about this reflecting and being on your own, do the inner work. And I'm sure most people are like, yeah, I kind of get that on a mind level. But for most of us, it's something usually happens, or we just get fed up with a certain way of being before we actually start willing to really do the work. Because I think most people know what they have to do, to get to where they want to go, but they just don't do, because there's not enough willingness. So what has been, if you want to share like some trigger or triggers that have fueled your willpower to really start doing this work?
Well, it's a very easy answer, but it's a hard answer to get there in that sense. I think that people who are aware of how to live their truth, how to live that life they desire, being totally naked and authentic with themselves, but they don't do it, in all respect, I think they haven't been enough in their own pain. Because I think that if you go so deep and so much pain, you almost lose yourself, even almost lose your life. This is the only way. people who say, oh yeah, but I would love to do it, they haven't been in enough pain yet, I dare to say this, to understand what a gift life is. And once you go in that pain, through that pain, you never, ever, ever want to go back there. And the only way is the way to be yourself, is the only way to really live truth. Because I believe that many people love your message. Many people come up to you and say, wow, Haris, how do you do it? But not many people dare to do it, while everyone is capable of doing so if they really want to.
Yes. Yeah. I also believe that. Yeah. Let me see, what was the other part? So it was what triggered. And okay, I might get back to that at a later point. Another thing that you said or mentioned on your website about success is what I so love. Your point of view on success, that it's about feeling good with yourself, about being satisfied and content within yourself and being your authentic self. Again, the authenticity comes up. This is something that I've been struggling for such a long time in my life. It just, the standard society way of looking at success just never made sense to me. And I felt weird. I thought I'm not getting something, because I couldn't connect to that concept. And so this is so great that that's out there in the world, this message. I think so many people need it, especially nowadays. And the question is, how was the transition for you, like discovering, okay, so this is what I want, this is who I am, this is my definition of success, like from realizing that to actually going into the world and creating things and doing such, the speeches and the trainings, the workshops that you're doing right now?
How did I get there, or how did I think about this?
Yeah, so what were the steps that you took to start creating that, to start manifesting the projects that you're doing right now, from the moment when you start realizing this, doing the inner work, to basically to where you are now? Like, what were some of the main decisions you made and actions to get to there?
I think first of all, it was a very natural reaction from my side, because I think many people have been educated in a frame of success is able to show others what you are able to do in terms of studies, a job title, status, money, And once you realize that those values are not yours, you will go back to yourself and say, hey, what's success to me? How do I feel good? How can I make a change in this world? How can I manifest myself without feeling better or more than someone else, but by staying my feet on the ground and say, hey, I want to support people. I want to guide people, And once you reach that point, you realize what success is for you. For me, based on the fact I've been raised in a way that all the factors of success were the opposite of what I truly believed in, for me it was easy to create my own success within. I read a lot. I wrote this Naked Truth book, but also I thought in the bigger picture. I see so many people with bitterness, which are unhappy, which are stressed out day in, day out, and they don't even understand or believe or are aware that success is feeling good, is your health, is your body. This is success right now. You connecting to me to you, without putting pressure. And to come back to your question, of course, many people from back in the days or still today in your life or in my life will not understand what you do or I do, because for them, success is in a money way, which is important because we have to survive, of course, but they will not understand the message, the work we want to bring to ourselves and to others. So I think the three main steps to answer your question, to get to that success I'm now, that success we understand,
yes,
is to really understand what success is for yourself and others, to not let yourself pushed down by thoughts of others who will say, oh, but true success is actually money, but you don't earn anything with your business, and what are your workshops about, and your book is not going to sell. Those are all false beliefs. It's so important to believe in your own success. So that's number 2. And number 3 is to surround yourself by people who understand your definition of success, which happens more and more because people get fed up, people get depressed, burnout, and they understand that their body, their inner energy is going away because all they give attention to is to have and to do, while success is the to be, like we said earlier.
Yes, yeah, exactly. There's never an end point. Like, I think what most the people you are referring to who don't understand this message, and that includes myself before I was on this journey, that there's this sense of, well, first this and that before I can finally be, before I'm able, or before I'm allowed to feel really good and truly content when this has happened, or when this is achieved, or when I have this amount of money, or when I have this amount of projects done on my CV, or until I don't know how many people like me, then I'm there. And that is such a dangerous mind trick because it just never works that way. There's always something next.
And I love what you said. There was a plane passing by over Amsterdam, so I hope I heard what you said. You said at some point, I don't think I reach success until I've reached this on my CV, or how people see me or like me. And I think many people, their success or their confirmation or their good feeling is based on what others think about them. Like sometimes, today I've come to a moment in my life or stage, social media, I have a weird love-hate connection with it. But when I post something, I'm not going to be like, oh, I only have 3 likes. Man, people don't like me. No, I just feel the urge to put it out there. If one person likes it, it's enough. Even if no one likes it, I feel good by sharing this. And of course, many will understand, many will not. But the question is, as long as you can reach one person, it's okay. That's success.
Yeah, I love that. And how that works, well, the way that clicked with me is when I start to detach from mind. So my journey involved a lot of meditation and for lack of a better word, mindfulness work, and to create this space between me, the true me, whatever that may be, and the thoughts and the projections that are going on. Because, and I think that's the issue with people, when you're identify with your mind, what you think your mind, you will not see that one person on your like is actually abundant. It's really a great thing, because the mind is wired to see lack, to perceive limitation, and to see, to see failure ahead rather than something great or successful, right? And this goes back to being in the being, to feel, to experience that the essence of what you want is right here, right now, which is this aliveness and yeah. Go ahead.
I love what you said there. Honestly, I love what you said, because there's 2 little things I would like to add on to this, because it's already amazing what you said. And I think people can see success like we do in 2 ways. You can pray and wait for it, but just like you are an action taker. You decided to reach out to me. You decided to bring your message out. You decided to film yourself. You decided to create this Facebook page, whatsoever. You take action because you understand that success is within you, and it's good to believe that. Yeah, you hope for the best, but at some point, you have to grab life by the balls. You have to take action, which you do, which is amazing. And second of all, you said something about success and failure. But let me tell you this, that I think there is no failure in life, because if someone, based on the fact you surround yourself by people who speak your language, and maybe people who are ahead of you of the process you want to reach and become, failure doesn't exist, because a person which is more successful than you just failed a few more times than you, because he knows best what goes for him or what doesn't. And it's by failure that you get there. Believe me, people are so scared of failure, because they think when they start a project, they want to be on top of the game directly. They want to have 1 million followers. They want to sell 1,000 books. They want to have 500 people at their events. This is not how it works. You have to go through a lot of shit first before you realize, fuck, excuse me for the term, I'm creating my own success by feeling my way to success, really. And this is so important. There's no failure. Taking action is a
Yeah.
great success. And the biggest failure in that sense, maybe, is by not taking action. So you're doing great. And this is so important.
I love that. This is such an important topic, and I think this is what holds people back. What has held me back from really stepping into doing what I love is that I had this sense of, well, successful people are people who have it all figured out inside, who have found some way somehow to just never be afraid. They're super confident all the time. They know exactly what to do, what to say. They have this strategy and plan ahead, and they know what to do and what's going to come ahead and how to anticipate. And only if you have that, then you're ready, then you're good enough to go out and, you know, be of value and do the things you want. Until I realized, you know, after talking, you know, having good mentors, and this is so, what, you know, what you just said, having the right people around you is so important. The really open click with me, like, to see that really successful people are people who have the same struggles as me without any success from that perspective. And just, you know, seeing they're afraid as well. They also don't know if they're making the right decisions, but they're
Of
just
course
doing
not.
it.
Yeah, and this is so beautiful you say, because it's so important to connect with each other without thinking. Yeah, I can learn from you. We're all the same, and this is the thing. We live in a world where if you dare to stand up and to share a message like you do or I do, some people who don't understand why we do this will say, "Ah, but who do you think you are? Do you think you're something bigger? Are you a guru?" No, showing your vulnerability, what you do on camera as well, is not for everyone. Very few do this, and this is so important because, of course, if something new arises to someone way of thinking, the first thing he's going to do is judge you, is criticize you. But then this person is going to think about it and say, "Oh well, what this Harry's or this Harry guy says makes sense or not." But that's okay. It's so many people live still in judgment, and it's normal. It's all good, you know.
Yes, yeah, it's all part of the whole
It's
being
the
a human
process. We've been
process,
there. We've
I'd
been there.
say. Yeah, yeah. Great, great. I love that. And yeah, this also reminds me of the many people that I encounter who do feel some kind of curiosity to the conscious living, let's say, but they're not. I often see that a lot of them don't know where and how to start. They're like, should I meditate? How do I meditate? Should I go to a workshop? What would you say to those people who feeling some curiosity, but they just don't know where to start?
Excellent question. Excellent, really. I think again, um, this is what I literally write on my website. The answer is within you. The key is within you. So I'm not the kind of person who's gonna say, when I guide someone, I will never say, okay, you can call me a coach or whatever, but I see myself as a cycle breaker, right?
Mm.
So when someone would come to me, I would say, I would listen, but I would also say the answer is within you. I could always give you my opinion, but you know best what's good for you. And there's no perfect successful formula to go from this blinded life to this more conscious life, because many people want to be conscious, but they think, like you said, that being conscious is doing this, is praying for love and light all the way, all the time, to take it very out there. But it starts within yourself, and many people, they are willing to be more conscious, but they're not willing to look within themselves. They're not willing to confront themselves. They're not willing to go
Mm.
back to the belly of the beast. They're not willing to grab their
Mm.
own balls. They're not willing to look into the mirror. And those people are not, with all my respect, the kind of people I try to attract. I would love to attract people who are much more aware, who are willing to work on themselves. And me, by working with those people, I work on myself as well, because who am I? You know what I mean?
Right.
So when someone would ask me an opinion, I'm very careful with this, because everyone has a different journey. Everyone has a different feeling about life. It's all within that person. I can always guide, but I will never give away a 5-step plan. You need to do this, this, and that, because who am I to do so?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. And so, when you are working with people, I'm curious, what are some of the challenges that you face? Because I'm sure even though people are ready, like they want to work on themselves, often there is also still fear, there's still resistance there. And, you know, obviously jump in if that doesn't resonate with your experience. But I'm curious, what are some of the challenges that you do find working with people?
Since that what I share is pretty much sometimes direct, sometimes naked for some, and I'm aware that what I share, even on my social media, might not align with everyone, but I don't even have time to think about that. I focus on the good. So the challenges I might face is that people come to me and say, hey, Harry, you're my friend. Do you have some tools, or do you have some time, or could we go for a walk while I'm creating a life out of this? Not just in a financial way, but also more importantly about energy. And it's the only challenge I face right now, even though I'm keen, eager, happy, more than happy to help and support people and guide people. It's so important to always stay close to yourself, because otherwise you lose too much energy. And it's good to give your energy away, but nakedly said, you need to ask something for it, because people might look to you, that's great, might look up to you, and some people might see the good in you, or might see the qualities you have, or the value you have, and those people might be happy to give something for it, to be part of your event, to pay for it. But many people will try to reach you and say, oh, but you know this and that, how can you help me? Well, I'm just a normal guy, I just express myself openly. And the biggest concern, or the biggest thing I challenge, or I have a hard time with sometimes, is to keep this balance in the middle. You don't want to say, back off, you need to be part of my event, or you need to grab a coaching session. And at the other side, you want to be nice, but at the other side, you want to stay in your power and your energy. So this is a very fine line, which people are happy to pay for food, alcohol, great car, great house, but they're not ready to pay for their mental health, for their body, which will define the quality of life they will have. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Yes. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I totally resonate with what you said. And another thing which you just kind of touched upon is, you know, in order not to spread our energy too thin, not to be all over the place with others, I found as well, also learned the hard way, how essential it is to find some way or some tool to ground yourself and to come back to your own power. What are some of the ways that you do? How do you, recharge yourself?
That's a fantastic question once again. I'll be very honest again. I try to meditate, but it's very hard in the city. I feel things very easily. I recharge myself by working out, by being active, by fighting my own demons at the gym, I say, because we all have them, let's be honest. And then there's one person, my grandma, for example, she passed away 5-6 years ago. And when I'm in a moment of emotion, of doubt, or even a moment of pain, I dare to say, we all have those, of course, I just look at her and I say, Harold, being in doubt, whining or crying won't help you. She believes in you. That's all you need to know. And this gives me an abundance of power, and I'm ready to go again. And this is my way of dealing with it. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. I've gone through all my questions. I want to thank you so much for
no worries.
Being naked, for expressing yourself authentically and openly. Is there anything else that you feel that you want to share before we finish the interview?
Yes, one more thing. First of all, I would like to thank you for your time, your energy, your openness, the willingness to connect. And maybe someone who's watching, who will watch this interview sooner or later, might be in the stage of his or her life to bring out also a message. And I just want to say to that person that whatever you have experienced, whatever you have in mind, whatever you want to bring out, once you leave that fear behind of what others will think, or if people will be able to resonate with your message, you will be unstoppable, because you live in Berlin, for example. I live in Amsterdam. I think you're Dutch, right? Or Belgian?
Yes, I'm Dutch.
You're Dutch, I'm
I
Belgian.
mean,
It
I grew
doesn't
up in,
matter.
yeah.
We all have a message and we can resonate. And that's the thing. This is the beauty of the message we want to give to others, is that you have had moments of fear. I've had moments of fear of thinking, oh, do people even want to hear this? You know, am I good enough? Sometimes it comes back. Let's be honest about this. But it's by meeting and connecting with people like you that you understand you're doing something to reach and share with others. And this is so powerful. So to the person watching right now, whatever you want to share, whatever you want to kill the taboo, whatever you want to share with the world in a naked, authentic, your own way, without being in a frame, think about the following. There's always someone on this planet who will understand your message, who will be able to resonate. And this is such a powerful way to bring out what you have to bring out. It gives you so much motivation and energy. So just so you know, you're not alone out there. Amen.
Beautiful. That is so powerful. Thank you for that. Yeah, this was, thank you for the inspiration, for the, also for the power and the courage to really stand in your conviction of what you know to be true and to speak it out there. I'm sure there are a lot of people are benefiting, and so much more will still benefit from this. And
no, thank you so much. I mean, it was a pleasure. It was very smooth. I love it.
Awesome. Great. Hey, thank you, Harry. And until next time.
Until next time. Thanks so much, Haris. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.